We thought it was just another empty place until the road turned us around without warning. A locked playground was hiding inside an abandoned school, and an abandoned house showed signs that someone was still living there. And the worst part, every place we entered felt like it was already waiting for us to arrive. One story B. The abandoned house where someone is still living there. People in the town avoided that house. It stood at the end of a broken road, surrounded by dry trees that never seemed to move, even when the wind was strong. The windows were dirty, almost black, and the front door hung slightly open, like it had been waiting for someone. Or something. Everyone had a story about it. Some said the family who lived there disappeared overnight. Others said someone still lived inside, but not the kind of person you'd want to meet. I didn't believe any of it. My name is Saad, and I make videos exploring abandoned places. I had already filmed old hospitals, empty schools, and forgotten buildings. Nothing ever really scared me. So when I heard about this place, I thought it was perfect. A house no one dared to enter? That's exactly the kind of content people love. I went there just before sunset. The sky was turning orange, and the air felt strangely quiet. Even the usual sounds, birds, insects, were missing. I stood in front of the house and started recording. "This place has been abandoned for years," I said to the camera. "But locals say someone is still living inside." I laughed a little. "Let's find out."
I pushed the door open. It made a long, slow creaking sound. Inside, the air smelled old, like dust, and something slightly rotten. The floor was covered in dirt, and broken furniture was scattered everywhere. But something felt wrong. This didn't look completely abandoned. There were footprints. Not old ones. Fresh. I moved deeper inside, my footsteps echoing softly. There were signs of life. A chair that looked recently used. A small table with something on it.
I walked closer. It was food. Not rotten, not old. Fresh. My smile faded. "Okay," I whispered. "That's not normal. Someone had been here. Recently. Maybe still here." I kept moving, trying to stay calm. The silence was heavy, pressing against my ears. Then I heard it. A sound. Very soft. Like something moving. Slowly. I froze. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. Just silence again. I told myself it was probably an animal, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. I turned my camera toward a narrow hallway. At the end of it, I saw something that made my heart stop. A light. A faint yellow light. Flickering. There shouldn't be electricity here. The house had been abandoned for years. And yet, something was on. I walked toward it. Each step felt heavier than the last. As I got closer, I noticed something else. The walls. They weren't just dirty. They were covered in marks. Scratches. Hundreds of them. Some looked like they were made by fingernails. Others, deeper. Like something sharp had been dragged across the surface again and again. I didn't understand it. Why would someone do this? The light was coming from behind a half-open door. It moved slightly, as if something inside had just brushed against it. I stopped. Every instinct told me to leave, but I didn't. I slowly pushed the door open. Inside, there was almost nothing. Just a single chair and a small lantern on the ground. The light came from it, flickering.
chair was facing the wall. Not the entrance. The wall. And on that wall, there were words written over and over again. I see you. I see you. I see you.
Hundreds of times. My breathing became fast. Okay, this is not funny, I whispered. Then, the chair moved. Just a little. Small creak. I froze. Someone was sitting there. Very slowly, the chair turned. Not quickly, not suddenly, just slowly, like whoever was sitting there wanted me to see it happen. My hands started shaking. The camera almost slipped. And then I saw the face, or what was left of it. The skin looked pale, almost gray. The eyes were wide open, too wide. And the smile, it stretched unnaturally across the face. You came, it said. The voice was dry, broken, like it hadn't spoken in years. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. You shouldn't have come, it whispered. I finally stepped back. Who are you? I asked. The thing tilted its head. Then it laughed. A quiet, disturbing sound. I live here. I turned and ran. I didn't care about the camera anymore. I just needed to get out. As I ran through the hallway, I heard footsteps behind me. Slow at first, then faster. I reached the door and rushed outside, gasping for air. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. I drove away as fast as I could. I didn't look back, not even once. That night, I checked the footage. Most of it was normal, until the part with the chair. My hands were shaking as I watched it. The chair turning, the face, the voice, everything was there. Two story. We've found a locked playground inside an abandoned school. We thought it would be just another stop. An abandoned school somewhere in rural Pennsylvania, USA. It had been closed since the late 1990s after structural issues and budget cuts, according to old news reports. But locals never talked about it properly. That was usually a bad sign. My name is Jason. I was there with my friends, Mike, Daniel, and Chris. We ran a small urban exploration channel. Most places were boring. Empty halls, broken desks, graffiti. This one felt different from the start. We arrived just before sunset. The school sat far away from the main road, surrounded by dead trees and empty fields. No birds, no cars, just silence. The front gate was already open. It should have been our first warning. Inside, everything looked normal at first. Classrooms were stripped clean, chairs overturned, old paper stuck to the floor like they had melted into it over time. But the air felt wrong. Too still. Too heavy. Why does it feel like we're being watched? Chris whispered. Mike laughed it off, but no one really believed him. We explored the main building for almost 20 minutes. Nothing unusual. Until Daniel found something at the end of a hallway. A metal door. Different from everything else. No rust. No damage. Almost maintained. Above it, faded but readable. Playground access. Staff only. Wait. Playground? Inside the school? I said. That didn't make sense. Playgrounds are outside, always. But this door was inside the building. Locked. Mike pulled out a crowbar. Let's see what they were hiding.
It took less than a minute. The lock snapped, and the door slowly creaked open. Cold air came out immediately. Not normal cold. The kind of cold that feels like it's coming from underground. We turned on our flashlights and stepped inside. It wasn't a room. It was a staircase. Long. Steep. Going down. Guys, this is not part of a school, Chris said nervously. But we kept going anyway. Step by step. The deeper we went, the quieter it became. Even our footsteps started sounding delayed. After about a minute, we reached the bottom and froze. A playground. Underground.
Perfectly intact. Swings, slide, seesaw, monkey bars. Everything looked like it had been built yesterday. No dust, no decay, no signs of abandonment. Mike whispered, "This is impossible." But it was real. The swings were already moving slightly, even though there was no wind. Chris raised his camera. Guys, this is insane content. But I wasn't thinking about content anymore. Something felt wrong in my chest, like the place was breathing. Then we heard it. Laughter. Children's laughter. Coming from everywhere and nowhere. "Tell me I'm not the only one hearing that," Daniel said. No one answered, because we all heard it. We walked slowly into the playground. The ground felt soft, almost wet, like it had been recently used. Then I saw footprints, small ones, fresh, leading toward the slide. But there was something strange. The slide had no way down from the back. It ended into darkness. "Okay, we need to leave," Chris said firmly. Mike turned around first and stopped. The staircase we came from was gone. Just a solid wall, like it was never there. "Guys, no, this is not real," Mike said, hitting the wall. We checked everywhere. No exit, no door, only the playground. Then the laughter stopped. Dead silence. And in that silence, we saw them. 3 figures near the swings. Small. Children-sized. Mike tried kicking it. Daniel was shaking, unable to move. And then I saw it. A narrow metal door behind the seesaw, barely visible. "There!" I yelled. We ran. I grabbed the handle. It opened instantly. No resistance. We fell out onto the grass outside the school. Cold night air hit us like a shock. The door slammed shut behind us. We didn't stop running until we reached the car. No one spoke. Not a single word. The next morning, we went back, in daylight, to prove it was real. The school was still there, but the door? Gone. No sign of it. No underground entrance. Nothing. We checked the footage. Chris's camera was still recording. At first, everything looked normal. Then the underground playground appeared. Then the figures. But on camera, there were more than 3. At least 10. Standing all around us. Watching us the entire time. And in the final clip, the camera focused on me. But behind me, something was already standing too close. Audio crackled, and a whisper came through clearly.
You shouldn't have come back. We never uploaded the video. We never returned to urban exploration again. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear it. Children laughing. Somewhere underground. Somewhere impossible. And I keep wondering one thing. Was that playground ever meant for us to leave? 3-story story. The road that sends you back wrong. It was supposed to be a normal drive. My name is Ayan, and that night I was traveling alone on a highway outside the city. No traffic, no lights, just a long, empty road stretching into darkness. Google Maps showed one straight route. No turns, no confusion. Just drive forward for 2 hours. Simple. About 40 minutes in, I noticed something strange. I passed a broken road sign, half hanging, rusty.
It read, "Don't stop here." I smirked. Probably some local prank. I kept driving. 10 minutes later, I saw the same sign again. I slowed down. "No way," I whispered. Same crack, same rust, same position. Okay, maybe I took a wrong turn. I checked Google Maps. Still showing the same straight road. No turns, no loops, nothing. I kept driving, a little faster this time. 5 minutes later, my headlights hit something. The same sign. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. That's not possible. This time, I didn't pass it. I stopped the car. The engine hummed quietly. The road was completely silent. No wind, no insects, nothing. I stepped out. The air felt heavy, like something was watching. I walked up to the sign, and that's when I noticed something new. Under the rust, there was fresh writing, like someone had scratched it recently. Turn back before it sees you. A chill ran down my spine. I looked around. Nothing. Just darkness. I got back in the car immediately, locked the doors, started driving again. Faster. Now my heart was racing. I didn't care about directions anymore. I just wanted to get out. Then, my phone lost signal. No GPS. No network. Nothing. Perfect, I muttered. I drove for another 15 minutes, sweating, panicking, and then headlights. Another car. Finally. It was parked on the side of the road. Engine off. Lights on. Driver door open. I slowed down. Thank God, I whispered. I stopped my car behind it. Stepped out. "Hello?" I called. No answer. I walked closer. The car looked normal. Keys still in the ignition. Door slightly moving, like someone just left. "Hey, is anyone here?" Silence. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, heavy. I turned around quickly. Nothing. But the sound didn't stop. Step, 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 circling me. My breathing got faster. "Who's there?" No answer. Then suddenly, the sound stopped. Right behind me. I froze. I could feel it. Something standing inches away. But when I turned, nothing. I ran back to my car, locked the doors, started the engine. As I drove past the parked car, I glanced inside, and my blood ran cold. The driver's seat had someone sitting in it, watching me. Same face, same clothes, same expression.
It was me. But I was outside the car. I slammed the accelerator, heart pounding like crazy. This isn't real. This isn't real. I kept driving, faster and faster. After what felt like forever, I finally saw city lights. Relief flooded my body. I made it. I entered the city. People, traffic, noise, everything normal again. Some weird highway illusion. I reached home, parked the car, ran inside, locked the door. Safe. Finally safe. Then, my phone buzzed. Signal was back. One new notification. From Google Maps. Trip completed. But something was wrong. The route history showed the entire journey. Starting point, highway,
And ending point was not my home. It was still that same road. I frowned. What? Then another notification popped up. A live location, shared from my own number. I opened it. The map zoomed in. That same empty highway. And there, a small blue dot, moving slowly, standing next to a parked car. I zoomed in more, and the image loaded. Street view. There was a car, door open, lights on, and someone standing outside it, looking directly at the camera. Not moving, not blinking, just standing there. It was me. I slowly turned my head towards the mirror in my room, and for a second, my reflection didn't move. Then, it smiled.